Part 5. The battle commences. The echoes of their declaration hung in the air, the silence pregnant with the gravity of their promise. Vincent Quill regarded them with a mixture of amusement and curiosity, a predator intrigued by its prey. Well, this certainly adds a touch of drama to an otherwise ordinary day, he mused, slowly pacing around the room. I'm almost tempted to let you try. Ava's gaze hardened. This isn't a game, Quill. You're meddling with forces you can't begin to comprehend. Quill chuckled, a harsh sound that bounced off the room's metallic walls. Oh, but I comprehend, Dr. Murphy, more than you know. Marcus moved forward, his eyes locked on Quill. He knew what had to be done. Their plan, disable the central control, disrupt Quantum Shadow's reach, was the only path to victory. He glanced at Ava, a wordless exchange. It was time. As if on cue, both scientists activated their translocators. The devices hummed to life, a melodic resonance that cut through the room's oppressive silence. Quill's smirk faded, replaced by a frown. In a swift motion, Marcus and Ava leaped into action. Ava launched herself at Quill, the element of surprise on her side. She aimed a well-placed kick at his knee, sending him reeling backwards. Meanwhile, Marcus sprinted toward the central control panel, his fingers flying over the complex interface. Streams of quantum data flowed across the screen, multiverses hanging in the balance with every flicker. Marcus worked with a fervor fueled by desperation. He had to disable the system, stop Quill before he could initiate a lockdown. The daunting task would have overwhelmed anyone else, but Marcus was no ordinary scientist. He was a guardian of the multiverse. Amidst the chaos, Ava continued her duel with Quill. She bobbed and weaved, her movements agile and determined. But Quill was no easy opponent. He fought with the desperation of a cornered animal, his attacks brutal and relentless. A punch landed on Ava's shoulder, forcing her to stagger back. Quill took advantage of her momentary lapse, lunging for the translocator device at her side. Just as his fingers brushed the device, Ava twisted away, her elbow connecting with Quill's jaw. He hissed in pain, stumbling back, giving Ava the opportunity she needed to regain her footing. All the while, Marcus worked feverishly at the control panel, his mind, honed by years of training and his experiences in the multiverse, sifted through layers of quantum code. His fingers moved with a mind of their own, deftly navigating the complex system. He could hear the sounds of Ava's struggle, Quill's harsh grunts filling the room. The knowledge that their success or failure hinged on this moment fueled his determination. The battle for the multiverse had begun. The outcome of their showdown with Quill would not only determine their fate but the fate of countless realities. And so, Marcus fought for the reality he knew, the reality he had changed, and the realities that could yet be saved. This was their stand, their battle against a foe who sought to control existence itself. The time for action was now, and they were prepared to give everything for the multiverse. The struggle. Inside the fortress of Quantum Shadow, the struggle reached a fever pitch. Quill, showing a side of himself unknown to most, was an adept fighter. He parried Ava's blows and attempted to retaliate. Ava, fueled by her resolve, blocked his onslaught, her face set in a grimace of determination. Nearby, Marcus continued to fight his own battle at the central control panel. His fingers flew over the keyboard, inputting sequences of code and countercode. His gaze locked on the streams of quantum data swirling on the screens. He could almost feel the multiverse around him, shifting, responding to his commands. The room was a blur of movement and noise, the hum of the translocators, the clashing of bodies, the furious clicking of the keyboard. It all melded together in a symphony of defiance. Every second counted, every action crucial. They were on the precipice, teetering between victory and defeat. Ava caught Quill's arm in a hold, twisting it behind his back. Quill groaned, but there was a dangerous gleam in his eyes. He elbowed Ava in the stomach, forcing her to release her hold. He spun around, aiming a punch at her face, but Ava ducked and countered with a kick. Suddenly, an alarm blared, the sharp sound echoing through the room. Quill's eyes widened as he looked at the central control panel, its screens now flashing in warning. Marcus had done it. He had successfully inserted a virus into Quantum Shadow's central system. The tables have turned, Quill, Ava gritted out, blocking another of Quill's desperate punches. On the screens, Marcus could see the virus spreading through the system, attacking Quill's control over the multiverse. However, the victory was short-lived as Quill slammed a palm on a large red button on his wrist device, triggering a complete system shutdown. No, Marcus yelled, his hands frantically moving across the control panel. trying to override the shutdown. His heart pounded in his chest. They were so close. He couldn't let Quill win. Ava, seeing Marcus's distress, redoubled her efforts against Quill. She delivered a series of blows, forcing him back. However, Quill was relentless, continuously fighting back. His determination mirrored theirs, his vision of reality at stake, just as theirs was. A guttural yell escaped Quill's lips as he pushed Ava away and lunged for Marcus. Ava recovered swiftly, diving and grabbing Quill's leg, tripping him. The control room descended into chaos. The screens flickered between warnings and codes, alarms echoed off the walls, and Marcus's urgent keystrokes created a frantic rhythm. Marcus could see the virus doing its job, but it wasn't fast enough. They needed more time. He glanced at Ava, their gazes locking. She nodded, understanding flashing in her eyes. Ava let go of Quill and sprinted towards the control panel. They were united in purpose, their actions synchronized in a desperate race against time. Together, they would challenge fate and gamble their all in a battle for the multiverse's sanctity. As they struggled to regain control, the room's red warning lights painted them in a harsh, ominous glow. Quill was not defeated, their victory not yet secured, and the battle for the multiverse was far from over. The endgame. In the swirling vortex of chaos, Marcus and Ava worked side by side, their movements quick and precise. They were both brilliant minds, each complementing the other's skills perfectly. Their translocators hummed in unison, creating a symphony of determination against Quill's disruptive plan. Quill, left temporarily stunned by Ava's aggressive takedown, soon regained his footing. He shook his head, clearing the daze and turning his attention back to the control panel. His eyes narrowed at the sight of Marcus and Ava, his rivals, tirelessly working to dismantle his power. "Enough," he roared, his voice reverberating off the metallic walls. He lunged forward, his intention clear: separate Marcus and Ava, break their rhythm, regain control. But Marcus and Ava were ready for him. As Quill neared, Ava swiftly swung her leg around, connecting with Quill's knees and knocking him off balance. Before Quill could recover, Marcus swung his elbow back, landing a solid hit on Quill's jaw. Together, they moved in a seamless ballet of attacks, perfectly timed and coordinated, forcing Quill back. Their singular goal, to protect the multiverse from his control, had united them in a way that no one could have anticipated. In the midst of the physical struggle, Marcus continued to fight the digital battle. He worked around the initiated shutdown, attempting to reboot the system under his command. His mind raced, pulling from his vast knowledge, processing quantum algorithms at a pace that would have been unimaginable to anyone else. The central control panel was a maze of complex codes and commands, and Marcus navigated it like a seasoned explorer. Sweat trickled down his forehead as he cracked the final layers of security. His hands flew over the keyboard, and with a triumphant grin, he initiated the reboot. The alarms gradually ceased, the flashing warning lights replaced by the calm, steady glow of the control panel screens. The virus had spread throughout the system, effectively locking Quill out and giving Marcus complete control. Quill, panting from his fruitless attacks, stumbled back in disbelief. "This is impossible," he growled, his eyes darting between the victorious pair and the control panel, now displaying a friendly blue screen. Marcus turned to face Quill, his gaze steady. "You underestimated us, Quill. You underestimated the power of unity, of shared purpose. You can't control everything." Ava, too, stood firm, her gaze filled with the satisfaction of their victory. "We're not pawns in your game, Quill. The multiverse is not yours to manipulate." Their declaration echoed in the silent room, a stark reminder of their triumph. Marcus and Ava had won. The central control panel hummed softly in the background, its once menacing presence now a symbol of their victory. Quill's gaze hardened, but the fight had gone out of him. He was defeated. Marcus and Ava had succeeded in their mission. They had saved the multiverse from Quill's control. But this was not the end. There were still countless multiverses, an infinity of possible threats and adventures. As they stood in the heart of Quantum Shadow's fortress, looking at the defeated Quill, Marcus and Ava knew their journey was far from over. Their task was only beginning. With every multiverse saved, another would need their help. The fabric of reality was still delicate, still vulnerable, and they had vowed to protect it, no matter the cost. So, as the echoes of their victory faded, Marcus and Ava looked at each other, an unspoken understanding passing between them. This was their life now. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to hear more adventures from Marcus Hensley and the Borders of Realities, Let me know in the comments.